Welcome to the Chaos Commanders podcast. I'm Annie, aka Commander A, military wife, mom of two, and seasoned in navigating deployments, juggling schedules, and life's unpredictable missions.
And I'm Katelynn, aka Commander K, solo mom to a busy neurodivergent teenage boy, business owner, and skilled chaos wrangler.
We're here for the moms who do it all, the sideline CEOs, the late night warriors, the women leading in their homes, businesses, and beyond.
If you've ever felt like you're running a tactical operation just to get through the day, this is the place for you. We're bringing raw, unfiltered conversations, honest insights, and tangible strategies to help you command the chaos like the Wonder Woman you are.
So grab your coffee, wine, or whatever keeps you going, because we're diving in. From sideline chats to lifelong friendships, our final episode of this first season is about how showing up for your kids can help you build your village too. But first, top of the show. I know we're saying goodbye for a little while, but I don't know about you, Katelynn, but I feel pretty darn accomplished that we did the dang thing and put out 25 episodes. So we are ending on a high note with a song that pumps. Today's Chaos Anthem is Good Feeling by Flo Rida.
I love it. And yes, I am so proud of us. we did it.
And our What's My is What's My Snack? What's your snack, Katelynn?
I have been loving I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Tillamook whole milk mozzarella snacks and cashews. I've been eating those together. Caden has been on a big cashew kick, and then we love those little cheese squares. My mom came up from Oklahoma, and we had started buying those. She had never had them before, and I was like, oh, we have new cheese. It's not like the normal cheese snacks, like cheese sticks that we get. And she tried one. She was like, oh my gosh, these are so good. So yeah, now she's eating them
bougie
too.
cheese.
So, what about you? Yes, fancy cheese. What is your snack?
I have discovered the Oikos protein shake.
Okay.
They have 30 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber, which is wild.
Yeah.
Usually, protein shakes don't have fiber in them. So that was super cool. And I would say they are more on the cleaner side as far as your ingredients go. So
yeah,
it's fast.
I think
easy.
Caden tried. Yeah, they are really, really easy to just grab and go. I feel like Caden tried the Oikos shakes. He likes the Oikos yogurt, like the Oikos Pro yogurt, but I think he prefers the Chobani high protein shakes better than the Oikos shakes.
So is it the smoothies or the protein shake? Because these are actually protein shakes. That's not, because I think I know what you're talking about, and that's like a yogurt smoothie. Because Oikos has the Oikos has the yogurt smoothies, and so does Chobani. But these are like actual protein shakes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. I feel like he must be doing the smoothies then, because they're also like 30. He goes and gets them from the gas station,
20.
and they're 30 grams of protein if you get them from there.
They're
They're more expensive, but they have more protein than the ones that you get at the grocery store. So
curious.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll have to tell him about the protein shakes. He might be interested in trying those.
I got chocolate, and it's good. I like it. In fact, I've been throwing my creatine straight in that. So
nice.
I like it. It's quick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so tell me about the Annie update for the week.
Well, Raina's birthday is right around the corner, and she's been dying for a loft bed. So we ordered it early so we wouldn't have to put it together on her birthday. And it came. So we put that together. You were with us, so that was fun for you too.
Yeah, it was. That was a monster of a bed to put together. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It was a fun little evening, and we had pizza and put a bed together.
We did.
So yay.
It really changed her room though. Holy cow. I walk in her room now and I'm like, whoa, where am I? So we did that, but then Joel was feeling a little butthurt that he didn't have a special room. So we ended up swapping his bedroom with the guest bedroom. We did that the day after we put her loft together. So yeah, it's been busy. So the kids have either been hanging out with friends or they've been in their rooms. And so we just haven't seen them.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I love that they're both going to have, a cool new room for kind of this new phase that they're going through. And
Yep.
Raina's about to be in middle school. And I feel like Joel's hitting that, even though he's not at a transition school-wise, I feel like he's at a transitional age where he's going to be maturing a little bit and wants a bigger boy space probably.
Yep.
So yeah, that's going to be really cool for them.
Yeah. And Andre and I got a date night.
Yay!
I know, this is crazy because we always used to get date nights, right? And I feel like, so when Andre would come home, because we would only see him 1 or 2 weekends a month, it was always like, we go on a date night. Well, now that he's home all the time, I think we've had like 3 date nights since July, which is wild, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really starting to see this, like, you get into this pattern of busy and how important it is to continue dating your spouse or the person that you're with. Like, it's so important because we have just, you can see us, like, we come home and we do all the things for the kids and we have dinner. And I think that brain rot time where you decompress before you go to bed, doing whatever it is that you, whether it's scrolling your phone or reading a book or whatever you need to do to decompress, that's great. Everybody needs to have that. But then we've kind of been missing out on that connection time. And so we were able to have this date night and we were able to kind of talk about those things. And I guess my point is that keep dating your spouse.
Absolutely. And I know that this is not a What's My Book episode, but if you have never read, because, you're not a self-help guru like I am, if you've never read the book 8 Dates, I think it's called, that would be a fun one for you and Andre to do together.
Okay.
So look that up. You do 8 dates and it gives you specific things that you're supposed to talk about on every date. And it's from this, I believe they're a husband and wife that are both like marriage counselors and they have been for like decades. So like good people to, to take advice from. So it's a really cool book. I read it just for fun one time whenever I was like in a dating relationship. And I thought, oh, like that's good topics to discuss with someone that you're in a dating relationship with after a significant amount of time. But I mean, you could use it in a marriage. Absolutely.
Sure.
I think that's probably what it was meant for. So
I'll have to write that down.
Yeah. And it's not a big book, so you won't have to, spend a ton of time reading. So
wouldn't want to spend too much time on self-help,
Exactly. You got to get back to the juicy stuff that you like to read.
I need it spicy.
Yes.
What's our Katelynn currently?
Oh my gosh. Well, all of this chaos that we have been commanding has finally caught up with me and resulted in me having shingles on my eye again.
Girl.
So you got a lovely selfie from me this morning. And I have lost count of how many times I have had shingles over the last 15 years. But it's in the teens now. I feel like I'm either on 13 or 14. The first time I ever had it, it was on my eye. And it was right after Caden was born. And so something about pregnancy or the trauma of having him, like I was in labor for 12 hours and then had a C-section. So something about like all of that kicked off shingles, and I've had it multiple times ever since. It's like practically once a year because he's about to be 15.
I feel like you've had it 3 times just in 2025. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely had it back in May. It was on my nose and kind of like went in the nerves up to my eye, but this time it is like the blisters are very definitely on my eye this time. So I am probably going to have to get to the eye doctor early this week because they usually have to check it because you can go blind from having shingles in your eye.
Oh, girl.
So no fun there. All of that to say, even though I am going to miss recording, I am definitely looking forward to this break so that in addition to all of the things that we're going to be doing for the podcast, Caden and I can just both focus on some rest and recovery for a little while because I think I just need some downtime and, he's still recovering from everything he just went through. And he did get to run a meet finally. It did not go the way he was hoping it would, but I am just so proud that he got out there and tried again after the big, medical ordeal that he went through.
Yep.
And he does have another meet coming up this week, and so he'll finish that one out to wrap up the season. And yeah, then we both get a little bit of rest, which is very much needed right now.
Much needed. Yep.
Yep, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about this episode and why it matters. And as I was thinking about this topic, I thought, man, this really takes us back to our friendship origin story. We met at our kids' martial arts studio a few years ago, and now we're like practically family and doing life and business together. And thank God Annie is so outgoing and pretty much just forced me to be friends with her, everybody. So
Stop it. You're making me blush.
otherwise, I mean, if you had not done that, Annie, then this podcast and this amazing relationship that our families have built together just never would have happened, because I am just, my little introvert, and I go in a corner and stick to myself. I'm a wallflower.
I love me some introverts.
Yes, you do. You do.
Well, parenting can feel isolating, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, just trying to get through the day, regardless if you're married or flying solo, we are not made to do life alone. Introverts. Yep. We are not made to do life alone. It's important to have your village either in person or via text, whatever way. It's important to have people. So, I mean, sometimes you just need to send a text telling someone you're going to eat your child so that they can respond to you and say, do you need me to bring you some seasoning?
That is priceless. And I cannot believe that I've never thought to offer you seasoning after all the times that you've told me you're going to eat your children. So yeah, I usually, I'll offer advice and a shoulder to cry on, or, an ear to vent to, but seasoning, I have never offered that. So that's a good one. It made me chuckle. Yeah, we were both in that like isolated place whenever we met. Mm-hmm. And for you, it was because Andre didn't live at home at the time due to geobatching. If you don't know what geobatching is, go listen to our episode earlier on the podcast. But Andre was living somewhere else. And so you were solo parenting, even though you're married. And for me, I was dealing with isolation mostly just because I'm super shy and introverted. And I have been single parenting. I mean, at that time, I had been single parenting with very few mom friends for nearly a decade. Maybe, yeah. I mean, it was nearly a decade. And so the reason that we're talking about this is because our friendship is proof and a reminder for people that kids' activities aren't just for the kids. They're actually powerful community builders.
Yep. So the hidden magic of showing up. Why simply being present at practices, games, and rehearsals matter. However, we do want to recognize that people with multiple children, demanding jobs, solo parenting can't always be at everything. But if you can be there, this is where the magic happens. This is where you meet people. I was talking to my best friend, Raina, the other day, and she was talking about, gosh, we always have to be, they have 4 kids and they have to be here and there and everywhere, because I think each kid is like in 2 activities. And she's like, I just wish that we had somebody who could help us get our oldest to his karate and then to his whatever. And I'm like, don't you talk to any of the parents there? And she's like, well, I don't want to put anyone out. And I'm like, but like, isn't that the point? Like, don't you think that if you're having that issue, somebody else there is also having that issue? Like, what if he's going 4 days a week, what if you took both of the kids, him and his buddy, 2 days a week, and his buddy's mom took him 2 days a week? Like, what would that do for your schedule? So we're kind of talking about that. This is kind of how this episode was born, because I was thinking about all of these things. And I too struggled with this when Andre was gone, because nobody asks for help, but everybody wants to help. And they will help
Absolutely.
for the most. And if they can't, they just say no. But for the most part, everybody wants to help, right? So with all of that being said, if you can't be there, and if there's something that you need help with, is there an email list that so for softball, we have a list of all the parents, and that's how we communicate what's happening with softball. Can you reply to an email like that that's like, hey, I'm in this situation. I need help on these days getting to practice. If somebody could, email me on the side and let me know if you're available, or if we can do if we can work out a schedule, use that resource. Or, if push comes to shove, can you reach out to the coach? Can you reach out to the instructor and say, hey, this is my situation. Is there anyone else that's on the team or in the class that's going through this situation that could maybe benefit from a drop off share or a pickup share? So you're not alone. You're not the only one struggling. And this is how you build your community.
Absolutely. And I think that the fact that so many parents these days don't create a village and they don't lean on other people and take care of each other, and everybody thinks that it's our family for ourselves, right? Like we're all just trying to get our own stuff done, and we all think that we don't want to be a burden to someone else. And so we're all like suffering from burnout because of it, right? When we could be leaning on each other and helping each other, and it would lighten everybody's load. And, it's like you don't realize that there's probably somebody else who also needs help, and you two could be the perfect pair, right? To like lighten each other's loads a little bit. So yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up, and I'm so glad we're talking about this. The other thing about showing up is that consistency can lead to connection, at least for most people. I don't always feel that way for myself, and I thought that this was really important to talk about, but it's my own fault, and I'm sure there are other people out there that are just like me. So as you start seeing the same parents and the same faces, it makes it easier to help each other and to establish friendships, but that's the part that I really wrestle with. So number one, even just reaching out to not only ask for help for myself, but I even sometimes, because I am so shy and so introverted, sometimes I will want to help someone, but I am just too shy to even offer. And I hate that about myself. But I'll like hear someone and I'm like, oh, I could help them do that. But like, I don't know them. I've never talked to them before. And like, I don't know how to start the conversation. Right. And like, I don't know. I start spiraling, my introvert tendencies take over, and I'm like, yep, they probably don't want me to help anyway. Like somebody they know better will help. And then, okay, I'm out the door. Right. And so yeah, and then especially, oh my gosh, to ask someone to help me, like that's the last thing I want to do is be a burden to someone, which I was just talking about. Like, I need to preach that to myself. Right. Yep. Like it's insane. And so there's all of that. But then I also think, and this, I know this sounds really, really bad. Like I am a friendly person. I love people. Like I'm very introverted. I love people in small doses, right? Because my energy levels, like an introvert is not somebody who doesn't like people or doesn't want to be around people. It's just that like I recharge by being alone. And so people mistake me for being outgoing a lot of times, but I view this whole like create a village and make friends with people at my kids' activities as like, oh, that feels heavy, right? That feels like a lot of work that I have to do, because if I make a connection with a mom and I'm like, oh, okay, like, well, maybe we could, help each other out. Then I'm thinking all of the text messages that I'm going to have to maintain with that person. And what if they want to talk on the phone? And what if they want to go out for brunch? And what if they want to go shopping together? And I'm like, I want friends, but friends are like, if you are a good friend, it takes time, right? And I am a single parent who is already strapped for time and exhausted and overloaded with things, right? Like my plate is full. And so a lot of times I'm like, oh my gosh, like I would love to be friends with that person and it would be awesome if we could help each other out. But it also just feels like too much at the same time to make it happen. And so I tend to like shy away from that, if that makes sense. And it's not because I don't want it, but it's just because I feel like it's something else that I will feel like I'm failing at. Does that make sense?
It does, but you don't have to be good friends with who you're doing ride shares with. I mean, like, you have to trust them, like, to make sure that your kid
Yes.
is okay with them. But like, there have
Yeah.
been several times where I've asked a coach or a parent, like, hey, I just can't get my kid to practice. Can you help me out? And they're like, yeah, great. And they do it. And guess
Yeah.
what? We aren't texting each other and we're not singing Kumbaya and having brunch together. Like, we're just
They're
not.
not over at your house for
They're not
dinner
hanging
3 times
out.
a week after that.
Nope. We're not. Nope.
I know. And it's probably because, like, you and I have become, and I've always thought this before, like, it's not just now, but like, you and I have become such good friends, right?
Right.
And I know that, like, if I don't respond to your texts like pretty quick, like, you're gonna think
Well,
we
I
need
need
to be
sign of
worried, right?
life, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I would be dropping the ball with a lot of people if I'm thinking, like, I can't be that good of friends with everybody,
Well, no, I can't
and
either.
yeah, and so, but I know that it's like this unrealistic expectation that I have put on myself that I know other people are not expecting, right? Like, you can be acquaintances with people and like help each other out, but for some reason it's like my mind doesn't go there.
Well,
It's like it's almost like this all or nothing in my head with friends, when it comes to creating that
my
community. And
friend, you gotta
yeah,
be like Elsa and let that go.
I do. I do have to let it go. I need more acquaintances
Yep.
that hopefully my life will calm down a little bit, and then they can become friends that I will have plenty of time to maintain those relationships with, because I would love that.
Think about being
But
the
yes.
helper, right?
Yeah.
So you hear that parent and they say, "Oh, I'm going to need help with this." And then you don't speak up because you don't want to build a friendship. Well, they probably don't want to build a friendship either. They just need to get to Tuesday, you know?
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
So,
I know. You're right. You're right. And I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because it has, like, made light bulbs go off that I feel like, duh, okay, like, like, I cannot believe that these are the things that have kept me from connecting with people, right? But, we all have our ways and our quirks and our things that,
well, and as we're busy parents, we go through these seasons, right? And like, we have
yeah,
these acquaintances and they turn into friends, and then maybe they go back to acquaintances, and then maybe like we don't ever talk to them, and then they pop back up in another rendition of sporting life, and they become friends again, and then like, so it's just, it ebbs and
yeah,
flows, right?
yeah, absolutely. I love that. That makes a lot of sense.
So
Okay, well, let's talk about the actual activities, right?
sure.
So things like, and we can use examples from our own lives, starting with martial arts, but things that foster community. So you take the martial arts one because, not only did our kids do it, but you did martial arts as well. So I just feel like you're the expert on
Yeah,
this.
so that martial arts is one of those fun ones where you put your kids in it, but then a lot of times the parents become just as involved, and then they end up on the mat with their kids.
Yeah.
So that one, it builds this strong discipline, which parents are naturally attracted to being part of that, because there's like this whole layer of like parent involvement with not only the discipline, but like, now we can all be on the same level and we're all being disciplined the same. That doesn't sound right, but it's like we're all following the same set of instructions, right? And so, yeah, that one, martial arts turns into a family pretty quickly, because the more time you spend there, typically the quicker you're going to progress. And it's not that you want to spend time there. You want to progress, but you want to fine tune. And so in order to do that, you really need to be there. So now you're spending all this time there. And if you're a parent that doesn't join on the mat, you're seeing all these other parents. And then if you're within a school that does a lot of competing and does traveling for competing, then that adds an additional layer to it, where you're staying in hotels together and you're hanging out and going to dinner after the events are over, and you're going down to the pool together. And that really turns into a built-in community family, and then people are like, oh, hey, your kid is sick, or you're sick, I'm going to come and pick up your kid and take them to whatever activities aside from taekwondo, because now we're so close. So I think maybe that's where you feel very conflicted over, like, I'm going to offer to help, but like, I don't have time for more friends, because I think you were really inundated with that whole family experience that now you're like, whoa, 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 I just maybe don't have time for all of that. But not everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Not everything is the world that is martial arts and that network that is. It'd be cool if everything was, but it's just, that's kind of a beast of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And we love
I'm
it.
glad you brought that up, because it makes so much sense. I mean, he did that for a little over 5 years, and that was his first major activity. Like, he had done some basketball camps and clinics and stuff before that, but that was his first major activity that he stuck with. And so you're right. I bet that is a lot of where that idea is coming from in my mind, just because we all did get so close.
Yep.
And I mean, I loved it, and it's really special. And I was going to say, I don't know if it's this way at every academy or dojo or whatever, but with martial arts, I know that I saw with competition, some of the parents being, more competitive, how some sports will be. Mm-hmm. So some of the parents, being a little more competitive about things. But I feel like with ours, like, not only was everybody there to help each other out, but like when we were at competition, we were literally like mapping out, okay, which kids compete at which times, at which rings, and then like running back and forth to go watch everyone and cheer everyone on. So like we really cared about, number one, like being there to support everyone that we possibly could, even when, like our kid might not be competing for 3 hours, but we were there early a lot of times because we wanted to cheer on everybody else. And so I think that just adds a whole nother layer to building that really strong community. So just really supportive of each other. And I feel the same way about track and cross country. So I can dive into that if you're ready, unless you have anything else. Okay. So for track and cross country, I mean, track is a little, I feel like, less so like this, but especially cross country, there is just something so special about that sport and the parents and everything. And everybody is just so insanely supportive. It reminds me so much of martial arts. And just because it is, you are doing things individually, you are, trying to get your individual PRs, but then there's also that team score, that you get whenever you're at races and everything. And so there is somewhat of a team aspect to it. And everybody is just so supportive of each other. And like literally at one of Caden's races, he had some of the seniors telling him like, come on, you're not gonna walk this time. And they were like physically like pulling him to be like, come on, you're coming with us. Like, you're going to run with us. And, not leaving him behind. Right. And supporting him. And they could have run so much faster. Like they were choosing to run slower on that meet to help some of the younger kids. And it's just this amazing community. And you have amazing parents too. Right. And not to hate on any other sport, but I think there are some sports where you don't get the same thing. Like the parents really get caught up in the competitiveness of things. And that makes it a little bit harder to connect. It makes it a little more intimidating to connect, because like, I'm not going to go try to connect with a parent who's like screaming at everyone. And, you can tell they're just like so focused on the win. Right. And it just seems unapproachable. Right. And so the cross-country parents are just all there to help each other. They're all there. They know all the kids' names. As every kid runs by, they're cheering every kid on. In cross-country, a lot of times the schools are even cheering the other schools on. Like everyone is just supportive of each other. And I love that so, so much. So I'm really happy that Caden participates in that. And, track is not quite the same, but I feel like it's still, there's a lot of people who do cross country that do track as well. And you get a lot of great kids and great families there too. And so, but I mean, it's really cool with the cross country. That's the sport where like you're very active as a spectator, you're running around. And so it's kind of fun. You're like running around with the other parents to all go watch, your kid or the team, together and everything. And you just know that they're very kind people. It seems like you just get really good vibes from them. And so I feel like it's a great group of people that are very easy to connect with, I would say.
Yeah.
And we had a really fun experience. I mean, I say fun, but it had to do with Caden's medical stuff going on. We were waiting for Caden's imaging the other day, and we had a man walk up to us, and he said, "Oh, do you run track or cross country at your school?" And because Caden had his sweatshirt on. And so Caden was like, "Oh, yes, sir, I run cross country." He was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, Are you a freshman?" And he said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, okay." He's like, "You're one of the up and comers. You're gonna, be the future of the team and all this stuff." And we were like, "Who are you?" And he was like, my grandson is a senior on the team. And he's like, "Do you know him?" And, they got to talking about it and everything. And so anyway, then it was really cool because at the meet that Caden was then able to go to, the guy came and found us, and he was like, "Hey, do you remember me? I saw you at the doctor's office the other day." And just, he asked Caden how his race went and everything. And, when we were at the doctor's office, he had wished him good luck and everything and told him he would see him there and all of that. So it's just a really great community and really, really enjoy being part of it. So if you're in that community, I feel like you have no worries about trying to connect with others and, offer help, ask for help, because I feel like it's just one of those where it shouldn't be intimidating. Everybody is there to support each other. And as parents, I think you feel that too. And it's really easy to bond with others.
Yeah. Good. Very good.
Yeah. And then for show choir and band, so Caden does show choir, and I know we have some friends that do band. So with that, you get a lot of opportunity to like chaperone things. Oh my gosh, those chaperoning days can be so long. Caden was like, "If you sign up to chaperone for show choir, like we're gone for like, I don't know, 16 hours. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I was actually hoping to get to meet some moms by doing some help with costumes recently, but that was right when Caden was having his hospital stay. So I ended up having to cancel and didn't get to go help with that. But just anything where, your kids are in activities where you can volunteer to help with meals. Like for cross country, they do 5 team meals for the season where they get together and everything and just have dinner after practice up at the school. And so that's an opportunity where you can go and like help pass out meals and stuff like that. With show choir, you can chaperone the trip, you can help with costumes. There's a lot of opportunity to volunteer and to meet other parents through the process.
Yep.
So
For sure.
what other sports are you going to talk about? I know you've got some more experience.
Well, we've done basketball, as you know, softball. Again, like we just talked about, carpooling. That can be a big one. I've, a couple parents have reached out. "Hey, can you help me get my kiddo to practice or to game?" That kind of stuff. Snack signups. Snack signups are the bane of my existence. I am such a Scrooge on that. Send me all the hate mail. It's fine. I hate snack signup. But if you need to trade, utilize those emails because people are definitely willing to trade. I know we've got basketball coming up and everything is done through a team app. I don't have any experience with it, but I'm guessing, again, like that's going to be a built-in community situation. And my guess is that we are going to have to, there's going to be a time when we're going to have to ask some parent to help us out with a ride situation because we've got some crazy practice times. So
Yeah.
It never feels comfortable to do that kind of stuff because we want to do it all, but we can't. So
Yeah.
it's just what it is.
And especially when you have multiple kids and multiple sports, it just is impossible to make it all happen.
You have to lean on people. You just have to. And people want you to. So it feels good to help. So
yeah,
other
absolutely.
activities that foster community are gymnastics and soccer. I feel like those are both places that build really tight-knit families. And, if you can stay for practice here and there, like you just start seeing the same faces and you can start finding commonalities with these parents, or at least like figuring out who's who so that you can feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, could use a little help over here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about making the first move. That's the hard part, right? It's like we've covered all these activities, places that, foster community, but what do you do when you want to like create that first connection piece? How do you break the ice without it feeling awkward? And I am really bad at this, but it's one of the things that I've been working on, and challenging myself to be better at this recently led to a new friendship. So some icebreakers that are just super easy is asking which kid is yours, or what grade is your kid in? Those are kind of universal openers.
Yep.
Or just ask about things related to the activity. So ask about carpooling, ask about practice schedules, ask about the snack sign up. If there's an app and you're not sure how to use it, anything, even if you know some of these things, like use it just as an opportunity to ask a question and start a conversation, basically.
Yeah. Yep. Offer to help. Be a sub on a snack day. Join the parent group chat. There are some, again, like this team app that we're getting ready to start. I'm guessing that there's going to be some sort of group chat that comes out of that. I don't have a ton of experience with group chats. I do have a couple of parents that I've gotten to know over the years with softball, and can chat with them a little bit, but just be helpful. I'll bring extra hair ties, just the things, have some Band-Aids in your bag.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I just thought of something. If you hear that a bunch of parents are talking about, or any parents are talking about, struggling to navigate, like keep track of all of the scheduling stuff, you can talk to them about your Skylight calendar.
Right.
We can't go an episode without talking about that lately.
Absolutely not.
Great conversation starter.
Oh, my husband overheard some parents talking about our tournament coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming up next weekend. And we have a kiddo whose parents are going to be out of town for a football game, and they were like trying to figure out what they're going to do. And he mentioned it to me, and he's like, yeah, they don't know how they're going to get her to the game, and lunch, because we have multiple games that day pending how we do. I'm guessing we only have 2, maybe 3, I don't know exactly. But so I just I didn't even know who the mom was. I just mentioned something to the teammate, and she took me to her mom after practice, and I was just like, hey, I'm Coach Annie. She is more than welcome to stay with us. We can get her to the games. We can feed her. Like, we got our own to feed. Like, it's totally fine. Whatever you need, let us know what you need. Like, she was totally blown away. The mom was totally blown away. Like, really? You could do all that? Like, yeah. Like, sometimes that's all it takes is, and then, it comes back around, right? Like, karma comes back around. Mm-hmm. So when you need it happens for you. And I don't think we're going to be like Insta friends, Katelynn. I think that I'm just going to help her out. So there's like no commitment.
I love it. Yep. I love it. I love it. You're never going to let me live it down. It's
ever.
Okay. Well, and I love that you offered that, and it kind of leads to my next point, which is that you don't have to wait for the perfect moment, and that connection can happen in the in-between. And that's kind of how I met our new friend Brenda, which is amazing.
Hey, Brenda.
And yes, hello, Brenda. And we've talked a little bit about this before, but I think also just talking about like when you don't even want to show up, like what can happen if you show up anyway to something that, if you're an introvert, or I know it's really hard for single parents. A lot of times you're just like, I do not want to go to this thing by myself. And I was struggling with that on the day that I met Brenda. I was like, I have to go to the 9th grade orientation, and there's going to be all these other parents there, mom and dad are there, and I'm just going to be there by myself. Mm-hmm. And it sucks. And then, you add being like super shy on top of that, and like not knowing how, like, I just feel dumb all the time, right? Like I'm just like do by myself, don't know what to do. So I hate it. And so I go to this thing, and there just happened to be, it was not a perfect moment, but we were listening to a speaker. We were like doing these rotations, listening to a speaker, and I just happened to sit right across from this woman, And the speaker mentioned you might be a brand new parent to the school, or you might have a freshman, because it was not only for freshmen, but it was also for new parents of high schoolers, I guess. And I didn't realize that whenever I went to it. I thought it was like just for freshmen. And so I just looked at the lady across from me and I was like, oh, do you have a new student or do you have a freshman? And like, that is so out of character for me to like speak to someone. Are you kidding me? And so
Good job.
I know, right? And she was like, oh, both actually. And I was like, really? Me too. So her son is a new student at the school and a freshman. My son is a new student at the school and a freshman. And at the time, they were both going to do football. So they were going to be playing football together. And it's like, well, hello there, friend. And
Insta friend.
exactly. And maybe she was, kind of feeling a little bit of the way I was, because then once we left there, like, I kind of just thought like, okay, that was the end of it. Like, I initiated some conversation and that was nice. And there we go. But then she kind of kept talking to me down the hallway, and then we had to go to another room, and she was like, hey, Katelynn, because we had introduced ourselves to each other. And she was like, hey, Katelynn, can I sit by you? And I'm like, oh, we're going to keep doing this. Okay, cool. So she sat by me, and then we had to go to another place. And I was like, well, were you sitting with anyone here in the big room? Like when we started? She was like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, can I sit with you here? And it just kept on. And then I found out that she was your neighbor. So
wild world.
Wild world. And so then we all went to coffee and we're there for 5 hours, right? Oh. And so it was like amazing. And yeah, so now we're friends.
Oh.
So it doesn't have to be perfect, but hey, that worked out awesome. And yeah, just, you never know like what can happen. And it's such a small world that she happened to just have moved into your neighborhood. And right. Yeah, so
yeah,
fun stuff.
Well, think of it's a missed opportunity, right? When you don't say something like, and I never would have met her, because yes, while she does live in our neighborhood and our worlds do kind of spin around each other, it's not quite close enough that I'm not sure I ever would have met her without. Yeah. And then because we did meet, we also, the two of us have fifth graders. And so Ray was able to connect with her son and kind of introduce him to some other kids, and on and on and on it went. And so, and that wouldn't have happened had it not been for you opening your mouth and not being a little introvert.
Yep.
So there it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So you never know what can happen. Right. What kind of friendship can bloom if you just...
You're the hero, Katelynn.
Stop being a little baby and open your mouth and say hi to people.
That's right.
And I'm saying that to myself.
Well, community starts with your kids if you're a parent. But it doesn't have to stay there. From group chats to birthday invites to helping each other in emergencies, these connections can grow into support systems you didn't even know you needed. Hey, Katelynn, community doesn't always look like matching t-shirts and brunch dates. It looks like someone who will pick up your kid when you're stuck at work.
Noted. Noted. Okay, I get it. But see, I'm so glad that like me opening my mouth at freshman orientation night did turn into a friendship with someone that we did coffee dates and, things like that. And so, yeah, I mean, it definitely can turn into that. And that is so beautiful and I love it. But I am becoming open to accepting the reality that every connection does not have to turn into a friendship that takes nurturing and maintenance and all of that.
Well, you wouldn't expect that either, too,
Yeah.
Like if you were to offer for somebody if they needed help, you wouldn't be like, but also you're going to text me every morning and every night. Right. And we are going to be best friends.
You are going to be my best friend. Whether you like it or not.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to share a little bit of encouragement for moms who feel alone and sometimes are alone because, you're a single mom. You might be alone a lot. But if it feels awkward or like you don't belong, you're not alone in that feeling. It takes time, and not every group that you may find yourself in is going to be your group, and that's okay. But your people are out there and you're going to find them, and kids' activities can be the start of something really special, as Annie and I have discovered in each other.
Yep, for sure.
Because that's where it all started for us. So,
thank goodness.
yes.
Well, as we take the next several months to plan season 2, we will be making some changes to the format of our podcast. We have learned several things over the past few months, and first and foremost, I need to be brought up to speed on editing our podcasts. In order to do that, we will need to start recording these episodes in advance versus real time. So, top of the show items like Annie Update and Katelynn Currently will be taking a bit of an exit. But no worries, we will have episodes that update you on what's going on with us here and there. However, this is where you, our listeners, come in big time. As we are planning and revamping, your opinions mean the world to us. So if there is something you don't want to see go away or things you would like to hear more of, please reach out to us via our Instagram or Facebook direct messages. We are definitely listening.
Absolutely. And season 2 will also feature guests on some of our episodes. We want to put that in rotation. So if you're interested in joining us on the podcast, or if you have someone in mind that you think we should talk to, please reach out to us, just like Annie said, on Instagram or Facebook DMs, and let us know.
From the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us for these 25 episodes. We can't wait to be back again for season 2. Stay tuned to our socials for more info.
Yes, thank you so much. I echo everything that Annie said, and we will talk to you soon. All right, Chaos Crew, that's a wrap for today. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow commanders.
Don't forget, we're all in this together. Join the conversation in our Chaos Commanders community on Instagram and Facebook, where we keep it real, raw, and ridiculously fun.
Remember, our fears establish the limits of our lives, so go push past them.
And always leave others better than you found them.